Bismillahir. Before the break, we were talking about the water rights systems. So we started by talking about the riparian rights system, and we said that the riparian rights system, it gives the rights based on landowners whose property are close to the what, are close to the sources of the water, and it has its advantages and disadvantages. Then number two, we talked about the prior appropriation system, and this is based on the first come, first serve. That's first in right. And we were talking about the advantages of this system is that it provides clear and predictable allocation rules. That is, the senior, they have more rights than the junior, and it's also suitable for water scarce environments where we don't have enough areas that normally have challenges with water scarcity. So this system is effective. Then number three, encourages investment in water infrastructure. So this system encourages the government, the community to invest more in its infrastructure. But what are the limitations? That are the disadvantages of this system. Number one, can entrench inequality. So early users dominate access. The late users, the juniors, they don't have the access. Disadvantages new users and growing population. So the new users, the new population, they're disadvantaged. Often neglects environmental flaws and ecosystem needs. Then lastly, may encourage overuse. Use it or lose it principle, which it can be very detrimental. Now, lastly, is the mushakal system. And many people advocate for this. That is the hybrid system. Now, the hybrid system combines elements of both riparian and prior appropriation systems, often alongside statutory regulation and customary practice. So it's a mushakal of both the informal and the formal elements to create a more flexible and context-specific framework. So this system is based, it integrates the land-based rights, which is the riparian, and the use-based rights, which is the appropriation, and it brings the element of state regulation, the government, and the licensing system. So here we normally have the what? Where we have the often includes permit system. So the government can give you permit to use water or not to use the water. Here there is the water allocation planning from the Ministry of Planning. Then there is also some standards related to environmental safeguarding. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of the hybrid system? Number one, it's more flexible and adaptable. Two, it can balance equity, where each and every person has the right, gets enough water, efficiency, and sustainability. That is the effective use of water. There is no israf, thinking about the current and the future generation. And also it allows for the integration of modern law and, on the other side, customary practices. Now, what are the limitations? It can be complex and difficult to administer because it is an integrated system. It combines two systems, which is very difficult. Requires strong institutions and enforcement capacity. It requires institutions that are well established, and also these institutions should have enough and competent human resource. Then there is the risk of legal inconsistency or overlap, because there are two systems. We have the customary and you have the modern. So sometimes there can be inconsistency. The modern law is saying this, the customary law is saying this. Now, ala kulli hal, the cross-cutting principles in water system, the same thing we've been talking about. So it should be equity, the fair distribution across users, efficiency. Water should be used in ways that maximize social and economic benefit. Sustainability, we've already talked about this. Protect long-term availability. Security of tenure. Users need predictable and enforceable rights to invest and plan. The element of flexibility. This flexibility means system must adapt to climate change, population growth, and changing economic demands. Now, on to another important part of our lesson is the customary and statutory law. So when you're talking about we have two types of laws that governs the water usage. Number one is the customary law. And customary is from the word custom, al-adat, al-urf. So customary water law refers to locally developed community-based system of rules and practices that govern access to, use of, and management of water resources based on tradition, culture, and long-standing social norms. So this is based on al-adat, al-thaqafa, wal-uruf, wal-takalid. Every society, they have their what? Their customs, their traditions that governs, you know. So characteristics of this is that they're informal. These laws, they're informal. They are not written anywhere. They are based on local norms and traditions. Then community enforcement mechanism. This community is the one that enforces it. The elders or traditional leaders, they are the ones who actually even facilitate mediation in terms when there are conflicts. And it is adaptive and context. It is flexible, and it is and we can easily adapt based on the needs of our community. So if our needs changes, we can also change. So it is a very flexible and an adaptive law. Now, what are the strengths and limitation of this type of law? Number one, high local legitimacy and acceptance. All the members of the community, they always accept this law because it is from the community. Nobody can say, oh, we don't want it. It is external. No. Number two, it is flexible and adaptable, as we have seen. Then number three, it reflects indigenous knowledge and sustainable practices. It reflects our practices in the society. Then often promotes collective management and social cohesion. So the customary law always brings the community together. Now, what are the limitations? Number one, may exclude certain groups. Most of the time, the women are excluded, the minorities. Sometimes you have some clans, they are very strong. Some tribes, some tribes are many. Outsiders, people who are not from the community, sometimes they can be excluded. Then the lack of formal recognition can lead to legal vulnerability. In some countries, they don't recognize these formal setups, and they can be vulnerable. If you go to a court of law, then difficult to enforce beyond the local level. You cannot enforce it beyond the local. So if it leaves the community, you cannot enforce it in another community. Then may struggle under modern pressures. There are a lot of modern pressures: population growth, commercialization. Commercialization is the issues related to business growing, and the demands of businesses are also growing. Now, number two is the opposite. Number two is the opposite of the customary. It is statutory. Statutory, they are now written by the government. So this refers to formal. Then number two, the codified legal framework enacted by the state to regulate water resources, including the allocation, use, protection, and management. So they are written and codified. Codified means in the Constitution, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Act 1, Act 2. So the key characteristics include what? Written and codified. They are clearly documented in Constitution, Water Acts, regulation. State authority and control, government institution, they oversee this. the licensing, allocation, and enforcement. Standardized and uniform. Applies across region within a country. So it's the opposite of the customary law. The customary law applies only to one region, one community. But the statutory, all the regions in the country, they have to follow it. And the government can enforce it, the police can enforce it. So it is enforceable through formal mechanism. So unlike the customary, that cannot be enforceable through the formal mechanism, this one you can take somebody to a court of law. They have regulatory agency and administrative bodies. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Advantages, it provides legal certainty and clarity. So anything that is related to law, it's very clear. There is clarity. Al-wudu, enable large-scale planning and regulations, facilitate equitable allocation at national level. But it is in theory. In practice, it does not apply. Then it also supports environmental protection and compliance enforcement. Now, what are the limitations? So, number one, may lack local relevance or cultural sensitivity. So it is not like the customary law, which is sensitive to the needs of the society. Sometimes this statutory law can neglect the needs of the community, often top to down, ignoring community realities. The rule comes from top. Down, you have to apply. It is the opposite of the customary, which is a bottom up. Weak enforcement in many developing contexts. In many African countries, enforcement is very weak. The laws are there, but the customary laws are even stronger than the statutory laws. Then can override or marginalize customary system. Now, another element we normally have is what is called legal pluralism. What is the meaning of legal pluralism? So we have the customary, we have the statutory, then we have the legal pluralism. So legal pluralism refers to what? Refers to the coexistence of multiple legal systems within the same geographical or political space, particularly customary and statutory water law systems. So you find, so legal plural means what? Al-jam. So we have many systems working together. So in many countries, especially across Africa, water governance operates under both systems simultaneously. So you have the statutory laws and also you have the customary laws, so they work together, Now, what are the challenges of having two systems? What are the challenges of having two systems? When you have both the customary and the statutory, what is the challenge? Number one, conflict between systems. So sometimes there is a contradiction. The statutory, it says this, the customary, it says this. So there can be there can be some conflict. Number two, lack of legal recognition, especially for the customary law. Sometimes the customary law is not recognized. Then number three, marginalization of local users. So sometimes state system may favor, the large-scale users, industries, the commercial agriculture. Then the local communities may be displaced, undermined. So sometimes some communities can be marginalized. Then institutional weaknesses. So poor coordination sometimes between the traditional authorities and the government agencies. You have the systems are weak, communication is not good, then the two systems working together can be difficult. Now, so here you are being given an example where two systems are working together. Now, the most important thing, if we want these two systems to work together, number one, there need to be recognition, legally acknowledge customary water rights. So the government should recognize the customary law. Number two, harmonization. Align statutory laws with local practices where possible. We need to align, harmonize, the traditional and the formal systems. Participation, we need to involve all the users in policy making. Equity and inclusion, we should not exclude the vulnerable groups. Institutional coordination, we need to strengthen collaboration between the traditional leaders and the state agencies. So that is the end of our lesson. So this lesson will continue the other part of this lesson tomorrow, because this lesson, it was very long. So then tomorrow we shall continue with this lesson, and we still have two more lessons. So tomorrow we'll have one lesson. Then on Thursday we'll have our last lesson. Then on Friday you are going to have your quiz. On Friday you'll have your quiz. Next week on Friday, inshallah, you'll be having your quiz, and the quiz will cover module 1, module 2, and module 3. So the quiz next week will cover module 1, 2, and 3, and the question will be multiple choice. So the quiz will be in multiple choice questions. So now I'm going to I've sent the attendance. I'm going to send the attendance in your group. Just take the attendance. Then we'll meet tomorrow, inshallah. Okay.